So I'm welcomed here today with one of our second year students who's out on a year placement at the moment, Gaurav, and he's one of our international students from India. So we're just here to ask him a few questions about the programme, what he likes about the university, and why he chose Cardiff Metropolitan University itself. So Gaurav, can you just explain in your own words how you came to choose this course?
Well, with me, when I was doing science in after my school, I was doing science, and then I wanted to pursue a degree to do with science because I'm quite interested in it. And then it came out to be that I figured out that you need water, food, and clothes as the most important necessities that humans need to live. So for me, water is available freely. The clothes industry is too crowded and too not for me. So I chose food because that's somewhere which will always be in demand and you'll always have a job. So that was why I chose a degree in food.
Out of any university in the whole of the world you could have really chosen, what made you choose the UK and in particular Cardiff Metropolitan University?
The globe and found something in South Africa. Australia wasn't really safe for international students, so my family weren't wanting me to go to Australia. United Kingdom came out to be one of the safest places and somewhere where students were welcome quite a lot, and it's dominated by a lot of students all across the UK, so that was one of the best options. And I looked at other universities, and Cardiff Met wasn't a choice in my initial list.
All right.
And I spoke to a family friend who is within the food industry, working with the industry, works internationally, and he suggested that Cardiff Met is one of the best courses. And then that's when I started reading about the course, reading reviews from students and feedbacks from other students who've been here before, and it came out to be then an ideal choice for my degree, and that's how I ended up here.
How have you enjoyed the course so far since you've been here?
Well, it's been my first day here. It was a new country for me, not being here, so it was quite interesting to meet a lot of people, learn the culture, and the education system in this country is a lot different as compared to India. In
Okay.
India, what happens is we have things going on for a year. You're studying for a year, and you have a final exam end of the year where everything you've done over the year is asked to you in those 3 hours, and your entire performance, your marks, your degree score, and everything is just based on that 3 hours.
Wow.
So that does become quite difficult, and no, it's not where I'm actually learning a lot. I am learning, but it's not getting into my mind as something which gives me ideas for different things. Over here, on the other hand, it's continuous monitoring of what I'm doing throughout the year. I'm doing assignments. I get time to research, and I'm actually reading a lot more, learning a lot more, getting ideas that I wouldn't have got when I was in India. So I think that's something that's really interesting that I'm doing here.
You're doing a 12-month year placement at the moment.
Yes.
How did you find getting the year placement?
Well, I started looking for the placement in December last year. So halfway through my second year was when I started looking for placement. Applied to a load of different companies, and I got into online stages with M&S, PepsiCo, Unilever, Nestle. So they have an initial application where you just send them your application form, and then they do a maths and science kind of online questionnaire where you just fill in questions and in a time limit, which is what they take you on to the next one. I did fly through all of those, and then something that led back was they didn't understand my education background,
Right.
being from India. So they were looking at A-level scores and GCSE scores, which I didn't really have because I'd gone through a completely different kind of education back home.
Okay.
So that's when I started considering smaller companies, which are more local and more specialized in what they do and not a broader company doing everything. And I got in touch with the technical manager at Dragon Foods, where I'm working now, and that's where I've started. That's where I've been for the past 7 months, learning quite a lot, been doing quite a lot of different things.
Okay, so have you enjoyed your placement that you've been doing so far?
Well, yeah, I think I've learned a lot more than I'd expected to learn. And it's being a small company with about 20-25 employees, it just gets really interesting because you get into different parts of the business which you wouldn't generally be in as a food technologist or someone from the technical department. So I'm also doing things with production, with procurement, helping out in all different areas of the factory. So it just gives me a broader insight into the industry and how different things work, which is
Fantastic.
really good.
So could you sum up what you do in a general day? What would you actually start off from coming in to actually going home? What would actually take place during a general day for yourself?
Well, most of the times we are running the line, so I come in the morning, I got to calibrate the probes and the scales before they're used to make sure we are weighing the right weights and temperatures of our products. Then I do a back change on the line to make sure the check weigher is weighing the correct weight for our products.
Yeah.
And the first hour just goes off in signing the meal off, making sure the line starts running correctly and there's no food safety issue or risk within the line. Once I'm done with that, I'm out signing off paperwork from the day before, making sure that all the different figures match up, things that were produced on the line that go into a retort, and we make sure that everything matches up so we have full traceability within the industry. And after that, it's just checking in delivery. So every time we have a big delivery of goods in, I got to make sure that the goods are as per standard, they're sealed, they're undamaged, so it is taking into consideration in all food safety.
Okay.
And that's it's just doing different bits, and then there'll always be a challenge coming up every now and then. There'll be an issue somewhere in the factory, so just there trying to figure out how to go through this and how to move smoothly, and then we do risk assessments and non-conformances and corrective actions and things like that. So
Okay.
it's quite an interesting thing.
So have you found that the degree program that you've been doing for the first 2 years, has that helped you in your year placement?
Yes, definitely. Because before I did my degree, I didn't see the food industry as I do see it now. I didn't consider a lot of things like wearing hairnets, beard smooths, dressing up differently, going into a food preparation area. It wasn't considered. But now, after I've done a bit of my degree, I went into my factory and I could see things that weren't right, and I could always point it out and say we need to change that, and it needs to be done in this way, and they would all agree with me. Because everyone in the factory has been in the industry for quite long, and they've stopped thinking, like certain things always taken for granted and left. But then when I go in there, I start looking at those things, and it's always helped me. So I think the past 2 years that I've been doing in terms of my degree has always helped me do things in my work environment. So that's quite good.
Okay, fantastic. So have you thought about, once you've finished this 12-month placement and you've started coming back, what you're going to be looking in terms of a job afterwards? Or are you looking at staying in the UK? Are you going to be going back home afterwards?
Well, at the moment, I'm finishing my degree, going for a holiday for a month or two, coming back, gonna do my final year of my degree, and after that, I think I want to do further studies, specialize in certain parts of the industry. So I might study in the UK and then start moving out of the UK into different parts of the world, using my knowledge and expertise that I gain from here into the industries all across. So that's the plan.
Okay, it's a good plan. Good plan.
Hopefully.
So thank you very much for taking the time and speaking to me today. Gaurav, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your placement
Yes,
and the next year when you come back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.